And just for the record, Joe Calamati,
Here.
Kevin,
Here.
Kelly,
Here.
Jennifer,
Here.
Joyce,
She's going to be late.
Rob Cohen. Okay, we have a quorum. Just for the record, this meeting for the town warrant is a public hearing. And the first is the school department represented?
Yes.
Yes.
So let's see if we could, maybe we start with the Blackstone Valley Tech, account 302.
Could I just make a couple of quick comments before we start?
Okay.
So this has been quite the process for us when developing this budget. We started back in October, pre-COVID, knowing that we needed to either move forward with the override, which is the decision that was put forward, or have to make additional cuts to our budget in the tune of about $660,000. Come post-COVID, or as we went through the COVID fiasco, realizing that we needed to make additional reductions with our budget, and the budget that you do have reflects a reduction in, I believe it's 14 teaching positions, 2 administrative positions, and additionally, we're looking to make a few more reductions to the tune of about $225,000, which would bring us to another point where we're using some of our funds to offset by the CARES Act fund through the town. So bringing our budget down to a reduction through that. So this has been quite the process, and still not knowing where we're going to land come the fall has made this even more difficult. So I think we've put together the best that we can right now, and things will turn out better down the road. Joanne, do you have the BVT numbers?
I do. I can get that for you. So for Blackstone Valley, we have a budget request of $955,171.
The town has received. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Does anybody have any comments or questions on this item, Department 302?
No.
Motion to recommend $955,171 for account 302 funded by taxation.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Account 302 is approved 6-0.
John, I believe it's 5-0. I don't think
it's 5-0. Yep, Joyce is not here. So 5-0. For the record, it's 5-0. Account 303, school transportation. I have $2,696,840.
Correct.
Is that the correct amount? Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Could you briefly provide comments on that amount?
Joanne, do you want to provide some comments? That's an increase in our.
So that amount.
I'll add a little context, John, if you don't mind. This is Mike Reed. It's certainly a painful increase, and unfortunately, transportation is costly. It's one of the major expenses that we have, and I will tell you that when we entered into a long-term contract with our vendor in an attempt to capture some benefit and some savings and economies of scale, we did everything we could. We have a good relationship with our vendor, and we've had a long-term relationship with our vendor, but we also attempted to make our when we put it out to bid before we entered into this contract, we attempted to make it attractive to get more than one bidder to try to create competition and put ourselves in a better position negotiated. And we were not successful, despite the fact that we've tried to make it as an even playing field as possible to attract attention. We think that we negotiated the best deal that we could under the circumstances. So, and unfortunately built into it are significant increases. So.
Joanne, can you just verify that increase is a small reduction in our regular transportation budget
Correct.
with our vendor, but a larger increase from out of district transportation?
Correct. Yes, we are realizing a savings reduction with our bus transportation provider for regular ed, but our special ed transportation numbers did rise.
Are there any other comments or questions from the Finance Committee?
One question regarding transportation with regard to fuel. Is there a fuel adjustment when,
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you say is there a fuel adjustment?
yeah, because the price of fuel, I'm sure when the time you negotiate a contract versus what it is now is a lot lower.
Yes, there is a fuel adjustment clause in the contract. And I believe we looked at that when we started talking to them about trying to provide some reduction in our budget with seeing that we weren't transporting kids during this COVID time. Realizing that the cost of fuel has gone down.
And what was the result of that?
Joanne, do you have that?
I do. So the way that the escalation is set up is it's almost a 12-month look back. So for the baseline of 2018-2019, we would be looking at that in December of 2020, I believe. Sorry, in November of 2020 would be our final month. So it's estimated that we would have an escalation cost because we were looking at the 12 months prior. So when we did speak with our transportation provider, we did not calculate any form of fuel escalation, I'm sorry, or de-escalation. That was not included, and we would have been billed otherwise.
All right, so we got no reduction based on fuel costs or the fact that school stopped about 8 weeks ahead of time.
We did get a reduction in our transportation costs. We did negotiate a change in the contract that while that school has been out. So we're going to be recouping, I think it's $95,000 during this time period. And then we haven't run late buses or field trips, which comes to a tune of about another $50,000, I believe, Joanne, right? So at the end, it's going to be $150,000 approximately that we'll be receiving back.
All right, thank you.
So will that $150,000 be reflected in the June 30th, 2020 financial statements?
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes, John. Hi, it's Mary. Yes.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Is there a motion to recommend $2,696,840 for account 303 busing from taxation?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The amount is recommended 5-0. Account 300, school. I have more than one number for that. So could somebody give me the actual number we're voting tonight without the override?
Yep. Do you want me to do it, Joanne?
Please.
Would you like me to give the number?
Go ahead. The number without the
Yep.
override.
Yep, so the number for Department 300 without the override is $26,378,917.
Okay. Anybody want to speak to that?
As I had said earlier, that reflects those reductions we're making in staff with our PTA, with our teachers union, along with administrative cuts and additional reductions through some supply lines in professional development, and a reduction of about 205,000 from our budget, but utilizing the CARES Act from the town to supplement that.
So, mind if I beg for just a second?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Hey, John, it's Mary. I don't know if you can see us on with your display because we can't see you. I just want to confirm with you that the school department budget, that the amount that Joanne just read, the $26,378,917, that represents about a 3% decrease over the FY20 budget. And that is to reflect the significant reduction in revenues that we've been talking about with the Finance Committee over the last couple of meetings that you've had. The summary budget that we have put together for FY21, I think as we're all familiar, represents and includes a $1.7 million reduction in revenue and directly attributable to the reductions that we are anticipating in state aid in Chapter 70 monies as well as other state aid monies, and also the reductions in local receipts. So the town has made some additional reductions that we're going to ask you guys to take some action on this evening, as well as the school department having to make reductions to address the situation that we find ourselves in, which is a significant decrease in our expected revenues for next year. So as Pete was talking about, he outlined what those reductions would reflect in the school department budget. But it goes without saying that this budget is it's not an ideal budget for either the town departments or the school department. It does reflect a lot of hard work on the part of department heads and boards and committees and school administration to come up with a number that that fits within the revenue stream that we have, and also provides the most robust core services that we can provide given these constraints. And so the end result that you're looking at here tonight is a $26.3 million request that we're asking you to recommend for the school department's budget.
But that $26.3 million already does reflect all of the cuts and reductions that you just referenced in your comments. Is that correct?
It does, yes.
Okay. Anybody on the Finance Committee have any comments or questions?
No, not really.
Am I the only one that when you say this brand goes?
I'm sorry?
That was definitely not meant to be heard. I have sat in on, John, this is Kelly. I've sat in on most of the school committee meetings the last 5 weeks or so, so I'm pretty well versed in all the times they've had to go back and forth on this budget. So I don't have any questions on it.
So the only item I would point out is last year at the town meeting, the amount that was approved at town meeting was $26,348,000. So it's pretty much exactly the same number, except for a difference of $30,000. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a very small increase.
Does
Hey,
anybody
John.
have any? Yeah.
John, this is Mark Flannery from School Committee. I think what you should also know is that the School Committee has returned about $250,000 out of last year's fiscal budget to the town for free cash. So even though the budget is the same, the school department returned money from fiscal year 20 to the town. So that money, the budget reflects the fact that we also returned $250,000 plus money that we saved from busing to the town from fiscal year 20.
Okay.
Plus, it should have gone up, John. This is Mike Reed again, to the our contractual obligations with the BTA and with our AFSCME partners. Would have required in normal circumstances the budget to increase in a much more significantly.
Any other comments or questions from the Finance Committee?
No, other than the fact that I hate to have to do this, but under the circumstances, we have no choice at this time.
Is there a motion to recommend $26,378,917 from taxation for account 300 school?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second? All those in
Seconded.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The amount is recommended 5-0.
John, this is Mary. I am going to ask the committee, the Finance Committee, to take a second vote on that budget that is contingent upon the successful passage of the Proposition 2.5 override at tomorrow's election. That vote is simply, should the override pass at tomorrow's election, we would know the appropriate number to put into the town meeting warrant booklet without requiring a second meeting of the Finance Committee to take that vote.
So I don't even know if the Finance Committee can take that kind of a vote without having the authority already given by the voters.
Well, remember that the Finance Committee's vote is a recommendation to be brought forth to town meeting. And so this would determine which recommendation is being brought forth to town meeting.
I know, but okay. My point is we don't have the authority. The town doesn't have the authority to raise that 1.5 million.
I think we would have to vote on that the night of the town meeting, meeting prior to the start of the town meeting.
Or Wednesday after the vote is
We could do that.
known.
We could do that.
We can vote it tonight, and then we can vote it again after the election results are known also. I toss that to the Finance Committee if they want to vote that tonight.
Well, let's see if it passes first, so we can always call a meeting and for that one vote.
So the problem is that I'm gonna, if that's the case, we were recommending that you take it contingent upon, and of course, if the results of the election were not successful, then that would not be the recommendation to go into the booklet. I'm just a little concerned with timing in terms of the 48-hour open meeting law requirement in order for us to post notices and make sure that we have all of the details we need to move forward with the booklet in the proper time frame.
Since there's only two possibilities, I don't see the problem with, voting on either possibility. Now,
Just putting the cart before the horse.
I think it's a recommendation, Joe, that's contingent upon the vote, and we understand that. And so it does not certainly not move forward if the vote is unsuccessful. And we'll know that at the time the polls close, late tomorrow night.
When's the book go to print?
The book needs to be, Tina, I don't want to speak for you.
That's fine. I was hoping to get the book by this Friday to the printer because it takes a few days.
Okay, so
John,
you can
Dennis.
post. Yep. Please, Dennis. Yes.
Hey, John. I would think at a minimum, if you were going to hold off to Wednesday, you'd need to post a meeting tomorrow, an emergency meeting of the Finance Committee to bypass the posting requirement, get that posted tomorrow morning, and then obviously can't pass. But if a majority of the Finance Committee was going to look to hold off that contingent vote, you'd need to do that.
Yeah. Thank you. I was going to say that. So my preference would be to post that an emergency meeting either tonight or tomorrow morning, and we can do it as soon as possible. And I'll make myself available for any time during the day or night to meet the Friday deadline.
Same here.
Same here.
okay.
So could I ask to provide comments on the dollar amount that we would be asked to consider and recommend now if the override does pass?
1.5 million, right?
But just for the school committee, just for the school, the two school line items.
So the school line item would be the budget that we just recommended, the 26 and some million and some change, plus 1.5 million. So that 1.5 million would be added to the 26 million. And
Joanne, do you have the number? I mean, we voted
do.
that number, so maybe you could just
Yes.
recite the number, please.
Yes, the number is $27,878,917.
Yeah, that was sent out to the finance committee on June 3rd. I sent that out to you, all of you guys.
Yeah, but
Okay.
And I got it,
so,
Mary.
so what
very
would the
good.
number? What would the number be? 27,878,917.
Right.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, Mary, you got to look at that schedule you sent to me because in the column that has the difference, it's only $769,000.
Or right, that's the request for the FY21 budget without the override.
Okay. And school transportation and BBT would not change. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So could we do that? Tina, could you post a meeting either tonight or tomorrow morning?
I could post a meeting tonight. If we do it tonight, it doesn't have to be an emergency meeting because we'd be within the 48 hours if
Okay.
I post it as soon as this meeting ends.
Tina, I would post it an emergency meeting, only because you're not going to be able to get it to the town clerk for him to post until tomorrow morning.
Okay, we'll do an emergency meeting. And also for that
Yep.
last vote, it was 6-0, not 5-0, because Joyce was here for that.
Okay.
Thank you, Tina.
So, Mary, do you want to jump into the next item, end of fiscal year transfers? It's $36,000.
Sure. That went out late this afternoon. Did everybody on the committee receive that?
Yes.
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 Oh, excellent, excellent. I know you probably haven't had a whole lot of time, but this is in order to review it. This is the second set of requests for transferring appropriations in the current fiscal year. So this is not an increase to the overall appropriation. It is simply moving money from one department to another to address any deficits or shortfalls that may exist in some line items. So as we talked about last week, there was a surplus in our debt service line item based on the ban renewal we had spoken about. So that is the funding source. And what you will see on the right-hand side where they are going to is to our OJI line for $7,500. This is to address some additional claims for on-the-job injuries, claims that are below the deductible. And then the remaining is to deal with some payroll issues, including a vacation payout for somebody who had retired, a longstanding employee who had retired recently, as well as some corrections to the posting of the retro payroll. And so those are outlined on the schedule that you've received.
So these are expected and not unusual type of items at the end of the year. Is that correct?
These are normal and customary, absolutely. And the Mass General Law provides this utility because this is an expected occurrence for municipalities to have to take care of in the last 2 months of the fiscal year.
Any comments or questions from the Finance Committee?
No, I'm good with it.
Motion to recommend the transfers of $36,536 as provided.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All
Second.
those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Transfers are approved, 6-0.
Excellent. And then John, just your signature on that like you did with the last one. I'd appreciate that.
I'll drop it off tomorrow.
Thank you.
Mary, anything else related to finance accounts, transfers?
So not necessarily transfers per se, but we do need to have the finance committee accept the reductions that were also on the town side. So if you remember correctly, we had been talking about that, taking a look at the reductions that were made to town departments that had already previously been recommended by the finance committee. So to that end, John, I used your template and I updated your template with the new recommendations from the administration and sent that out to you the other day. Did you receive that?
So these are 13 reductions, a total $1,783,286.
That is correct, except we want to make sure that we're not voting the school departments twice. I just pulled that up here, but yes, that is the schedule that you're looking for. So what you want to do is we want to take the school departments out because you just voted that budget.
Well, we also voted the $96,000 reduction for school busing also.
Yep, so the three lines, 300, 302, and 303. School, transport, and Valley Vogue.
So do you get $918,129?
Sheet here shows 135. 918, 135.
I'm sorry, Joe, I'm not sure what you're looking at, Joe.
I'm looking at the subtotal for the town expenses.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so according on the details, so John, your number was 918,129?
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's the correct number. So just for clarity, the total reduction is $1,783,286,000. We have already voted the school's reduction of $769,157 and the busing reduction of $96,000. And that leaves additional reductions to vote of $918,129.
That's correct. That's correct. So that is the sum total of the reductions.
Yeah, so the majority of that comes from $400,000 from fire, $209,000 from police, $100,000 from highway, and the rest are all under $100,000 each.
Correct.
Those are big reductions in fire and police, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are substantial reductions. We hope to up some of it with COVID money. We do have some vacant positions, as you know, in the police department that we cannot fill, but the goal will be to fund as much of it as we possibly can with that $1.5 million COVID grant.
Okay.
And the selectmen did vote on last.
So the selectmen did vote on the $1,783,000.
They voted on the municipal cuts as well as the total budget. So they have voted on everything that you're seeing.
Any other comments or questions from the Finance Committee?
Nope.
Motion to recommend. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So moved.
Let me finish the motion. Motion to recommend the reduction of amounts previously voted in the amount of $918,129 from the schedule that was distributed from the town CFO. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? The reduction is recommended in the amount of $918,129.
Thank you. So Tina, I will work with you and get that schedule over for Article 1 with those numbers reflected in there.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Mary, are there any other numbers that have to be voted tonight?
There are not, I'm just looking at your agenda, making sure. No, John, we have taken care of all of the items that we need to take care of for this evening. Thank you.
Are any of the articles that have numbers, do they need a vote from the Finance Committee tonight?
No, you guys have completed all of them.
Okay.
And so did the edits get back out to, Tina, did they receive the edits for Articles 2 through 5 and a warrant booklet?
I did not send out 1 through 5 yet to any of the committee. I was waiting for tonight so I can get the rest of the numbers in. I sent out the 6 through 31 for them
Okay.
to prove, and then I got some feedback from that, and now hoping to plug these numbers in tonight and get 1 through 5 over by maybe hopefully tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. The short answer, John, is you guys have voted all of the items that we would need for town meeting, with the exception of the results of the override.
Okay. And Tina, we have voted all of the articles in the warrant. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So Tina, what's the next agenda item?
I have a couple questions. Should I, for this emergency agenda that I'll be posting tomorrow, do we want to do Wednesday at the same time, or what works for everybody?
That works for me.
Wednesday at 5:30.
I'm flexible.
Okay, I'll send it out, and the only thing it's going to have on it is discussion if the override's approved, correct? That's the only thing that's going to be on it?
It would impact Article 1.
Okay.
So I would imagine if this next article, if the article doesn't pass, there's no need for a meeting, correct?
Correct.
Because we've voted the item.
That's right.
Thank you.
Jim, will you send out new instructions for the meeting, or we use the same login?
It'll be a new link.
Thank you.
Tina, next item on the agenda?
The only other thing I have out there is my invoice from May and June.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the May invoice of $318.32 and a June invoice $318.32?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? These two invoices are approved. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Kelly, good luck tomorrow on the election.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Anybody have anything before I call for a motion to adjourn?
Oh, I already did mine. Good luck to Kelly, so I'm good.
Motion, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, John.